Welcome, welcome, crew, guys, gals, ghouls, friends, fiends, foes, whoever may be listening to Beyond The Omniverse tonight. Here are your tinfoil hats, buckle down tight, and hold on loosely as we soar over the rocky tops of the La Platas on a rocky mountain high. Get sucked into the vortex of the Four Corners and settle down snugly at mile marker 420 in colorful Colorado. I'm your host, TessaTNT, and we are broadcasting live from the Mile High Clubhouse tonight. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. And good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you, wherever you may be out there in the Omniverse tonight. So if you're watching live, you're watching right now on. If you'd like to catch this podcast at a later date or listen to our past podcast, feel free to find us on whatever outlets you may listen to your podcasts on. So tonight we're doing Trippy TikToks. Howie. I hope it's not going to be. Listen, right, hold on.
Hello.
Hello, friends. So when you
Oh no.
reincarnate, will you reincarnate back where you died? Do you just kind of come back around to the same town, village, city that you just left? Or do you go somewhere else in the world? This is such an interesting topic and conversation, and I got some more insight into this that I think might just blow your mind, because it blew my mind. So I'm going to share it with you guys. So as I've been creating my Soul Sync course and framework, I have been diving in to things like astrology, namely like true sidereal astrology, the I Ching, Kabbalah, the human design system, and most recently the cosmic human design system. And I've been combining that with all of my research into reincarnation and the spiritual world, especially coming from Dr. Michael Newton when it comes to his mapping out and exploration of the spirit world and the life between lives. Okay, with all that out of the way. Michael Newton talks about something that many of his clients have talked about, which is the Hall of Destiny. The Hall of Destiny is essentially one of the last parts of the life between lives. So, in a nutshell, you die, you go up to spirit, you have all these different things you do. You meet with your soul family and your spirit guides, and you do a past life review. You do some R&R, you do some research and development, you plan and get ready for your next incarnation, and then you go into the Hall of Destiny where you actually choose your next body, your next avatar for your next incarnation. Now, this avatar has to have certain elements to it, certain kind of behaviorisms and physical traits and things like that, that best suit your next lifetime, because you go through like a life planning process where you're planning your next incarnation. You're saying, okay, based on what I did last time and my overall arc of my lifetimes and what I'm trying to accomplish here as a soul, in my next incarnation, I need to do X, Y, Z. You have a to-do list, you have a mission, and the body, the physical avatar, the vehicle for your consciousness to come in here and do all this stuff is very important. So you go into the Hall of Destiny, and when you're there, they will usually present you with several bodies with lives, and they'll say, okay, it's almost like a theater room, and you get to see a sneak peek into your potential next body. And you even get to kind of zoom into it for a minute and zoom out and see if you like it, see if it fits, that kind of stuff, right? It's like test driving a car. It's really wild. And he had many, hundreds of different patients or clients describe the same thing. Very fascinating stuff. Okay, so the thing that kind of threw me for a loop is I was like, all right, when they go in the Hall of Destiny and they present them with these potential bodies, these vehicles, they'll say, okay, you can be this woman in Spain, or, we have this other one over here, this other option, it's this man in Mexico, and then there's this other one, this woman in Canada, and you have to kind of select between them. And I always thought, why are they all spread out, And this verified to me that your next incarnation is not tied, like where you're born, it's not tied to like where you passed away in the last life. That doesn't seem to have any bearing, okay? And then I thought, okay, well, why are they like kind of spread out around the world? Like how's that determined? You know what I mean? And then I came across the human design system. The human design system is based on the Kabbalah and the I Ching, but most specifically it's based on astrology. The traditional human design system is based on tropical astrology and the cosmic human design systems based on sidereal, which is, in my opinion, the one we should use, because it's based on the fixed stars. Anyways, what they describe, what Ra Uru Hu, the founder of human design, describes is that this system is like the avatar creation system, meaning that, like, depending on where and when you're born, and a few other factors like genetics and the quantum, factor of the neutrinos and how they pass through the planets and are filtered by the planets before they get to Earth and encode our avatar. But depending on where and when you're born, the different avatars are made in different ways. Kind of like if you think about like a car assembly plant, you can make Jeeps and trucks and race cars and all sorts of stuff. And say they had some sort of a system governing that, where it said, okay, on Mondays we make race cars, and on Tuesdays we make Jeeps, and on Wednesdays we make trucks. Think about Earth that way. Like, you have this cosmic clock that is constantly, clicking, ticking every single second. And depending on where the clock is, the humans that are born are going to have particular traits and attributes. That's why our world operates the way it does. It's like, it's very evenly distributed, all the different types of people. So when you are, sorry, it's so itchy out here. When you are planning your next incarnation, depending on what you're trying to accomplish, this system, like this operating system, says, okay, well, here are the avatars, the humans, that are going to be available that suit your needs. And they have to be in various places around the world because of this astrological system that basically dictates, depending on when and where you're born on Earth, that you're going to be that type of person, right? That archetype, that human design profile. And so if you're needing someone who's, like, let's say, empathic and creative and compassionate and that kind of stuff, okay, that's this type of person. It's going to be created on this date in New Delhi, India, right? Now, it's one of your options. You know what I mean? Hopefully this is making sense. So that whole, like, when they go to, like, how Dr. Michael Newton describes the Hall of Destiny, where you're selecting your next avatar for your next incarnation, and they're always, like, in random places around Earth, that has to do with the astrological system of basically what human design calls the neutrino imprinting system. And that's what determines where these humans are going to be, like, kind of produced. Like this is like a factory, a cosmic factory. It's really wild. And then your consciousness integrates into that body and goes out and does your thing. And I just thought that was super interesting. So what I learned through all this is that where you pass away is not where your next incarnation necessarily is going to begin. And where you're born basically just has to do with the fact that you need a body to be born that suits your needs. It doesn't mean you have to live there. That's why a lot of times you're born in a place and then you're like, oh, I really want to move here. Say you're born in the mountains and then you want to move to the beach. Or you're born in the city and you want to move to the mountains, whatever. You're drawn to places. Because where you're born doesn't have anything to do with your life. You just needed that avatar. You needed that vehicle to be made in that certain way. It was going to be made in that city at that day and that time. So you hopped in it and you go on your merry way. But at a certain point in your life, you can be like, well, I don't need to live here. I was just born here, like I just needed to be created here. That's all. Then you go to where it is you need to be to fulfill your mission. That's why a lot of times you'll be called to a certain place in life. So I realized all that. And then I realized that basically this is a mass production factory of humans, and it's tied to the stars. It really is. The tropical Western astrological system, I think, is there to mess us up, because the true sidereal that's based on the fixed stars is actually the only one that makes sense. And that's the old school one from the Sumerian Babylonian days, and even what, like, the Vedic astrologers use in India. But we've gotten away from that in the Western world. That's why nothing makes any sense. Our horoscopes are wrong. Most of our signs are wrong. Everything's wrong. Even human design is flawed until you incorporate the sidereal system. But I've realized that this Earth is like a cosmic mass production factory for human beings. And there's like an overall operating system that coordinates between the spirit world and the physical world to coordinate with the consciousnesses. Okay, what is it you're trying to accomplish in your next life? And then making sure that there's a body available for them to use that would best suit their needs. Freaking wild, isn't it? Hopefully you followed all that. Anyways, let me know what you guys think, and have a beautiful day. Peace. Hello.
Hello, and welcome to all new and existing members of the We Do Not Care Club. I started this club for all women going through perimenopause, menopause, and postmenopause. We are putting the world on notice that we simply just do not care much anymore. Let's go ahead and get started with today's announcements. We do not care that you asked us a question and we answered it in our head. You heard what we said. We do not care that we can no longer see our she shed. She is clean and dry. We do not care about responding to every text, email, and phone call asking us to check in for our appointment. We spend more time confirming the appointment than we do with the doctor. We do not care that the event we RSVP'd yes to 4 weeks ago is happening today. It sounded good then. It doesn't now. We're not going. We do not care that our cellulite has cellulite. God don't make mistakes. We do not care if you want gravy on your rice. Our gravy making days are over.
Fine.
We do not care if you can see that we are online. We still not responding to your texts. We do not care if we took meat out to defrost this morning. We will not be cooking dinner. We do not care if we are riding with the AC on and the windows down. It's called balance. This concludes our announcements for our new and existing members. Please be sure to put in the comments what we do not care about today so we can go ahead and add those to the upcoming announcements.
A horrifying encounter captured on camera in the quiet hills of Italy. A man sleeping in his home wakes to movement outside his window. He grabs his phone and records what may be the most terrifying footage we've ever seen. There, pacing slowly back and forth, is a tall, black-eyed figure, humanoid, but not human. Its limbs are too long, its head tilted. Silent, watching, waiting. It approaches the front door over and over like it's testing whether it can get in. Thank God for iron bars. If not for those bars, experts say this being, whatever it is, might have entered the home. And once inside, we don't know what happens next. The video hasn't been verified. We don't know if it's real, but AI...
It makes me wonder if there's any relation between them and, I believe it's fairies. Is iron, those are iron bars, iron supposedly keeps fairies out. No, that's interesting.
AI analysis shows no signs of digital manipulation. The lighting matches, the shadows align. This wasn't faked on a phone screen or projected from outside. Is it an animal distorted by night vision? Or something worse? UFO researchers call these entities biological drones, android-like extraterrestrials sent here for surveillance, biological harvesting, even abductions under cover of darkness. Some believe they're scientists from another world studying us. They're at our doors. One man claims he's seen one before, that he has proof hidden away too disturbing to release. So tell me, what do you think walked up to that door? Alien? Forest creature caught on camera? Or something Earth never made? Comment below, because one thing's certain, this was not supposed to be filmed, and now that we've seen it, they might know we're watching back. Don't sleep with your windows open tonight.
Switzerland are quietly preparing for the end of the world. They've been hustling for decades. You wouldn't know it by just looking at them, but underneath around 60% of the Swiss Alps, they've built a city of doomsday bunkers that can protect hundreds of thousands of people in a catastrophic event. In fact, Switzerland is the only country in the world that can house their entire population, 8.7 million people, in a secure bunker. And they're not just old, forgotten World War II structures slowly crumbling away. They are continuously updated and restocked with supplies till this day. You see, Switzerland decided they needed to, excuse the pun, lock in after Germany promised to not invade them during World War II. They not only transformed the peaceful Swiss Alps into an absolute fortress and rigged it with enough explosives to collapse entire mountainsides, but the Swiss government also made it a law for homes, schools, hospitals, and other public buildings to install protective shelters, and that policy remains till this day, meaning the entire country is designed in a way that wherever you go, whether it's a restaurant, a park, park or a friend's house, there's always a doomsday bunker nearby. According to official figures, Switzerland currently has around 300,000 bunkers across the country, which can accommodate roughly 9.3 million people. That's over 500,000 more than the country's current population. And once they're safely inside, they can even remotely detonate things like roads, bridges, tunnels, and railways to keep out invaders, or I guess, the unprepared. Switzerland are quietly preparing for the end.
Happy birthday to you. Happy.
This is like the third or fourth video I've seen candles blowing out on their own, and it's really trippy.
Birthday, dear London. Happy birthday to you.
I said happy birthday, Blondie.
How did you do that? Did you do it? What did you do?
That was weird. That wasn't me.
Did you do it?
That wasn't me.
That was strange, wasn't it? What happened?
That was weird.
If a ghost ever blew out my candles like that, my birthday is ruined because I'd be too afraid that it made a wish to switch bodies.
Is it just me, or did this scene from White Men Can't Jump seem just a little out of place?
The last words of Lee Harvey Oswald. It wasn't me, it was the CIA.
Now, at first it seemed like a throwaway line from a bad joke, but when you dig deeper, you realize there was a lot more meaning behind what Woody Harrelson's character was saying in this scene. You see, Woody Harrelson's father, Charles Harrison, was a legitimate hitman for the mafia who died in...
Oh. It was just getting good.
Happy birthday.
Hey everyone, this is Timothy Wayne Williams, and I want to thank everybody for wishing me a happy birthday. That was super awesome, very sweet of you. Thank you. Now, for all the people who did not wish me a happy birthday, being an insecure, bitter artist, I want to get to the bottom of some things. So we're going to send out a questionnaire to you people. Questionnaire with, here's some sample questions. A, what's your problem? B, did you have a medical issue? Were you in the hospital? Did you break your hand? I mean, I'm reasonable, okay? I'll need the attending physician's name and the location of said hospital. My dog. Was it my dog? Did he get a hold of you? Did he say not to wish me happy birthday? That's like him. He would do that. And D, seriously, what's your problem? E, no time? Oh, you didn't have time. Okay, I get it. I mean, I didn't have time either. I know what it's like to not have time. I used to be a famous musician, played for thousands of people, signed hundreds of autographs. And when I say thousands of people, I mean, I played for some people in small clubs. And when I say autographs, I mean checks to utility companies. But still, I found time to wish my friends happy birthday. So anyway, love you all. Talk to you later.
Hey everybody, Doc Skinner here.
Hey, what's going on, Doc? What's up, Doc?
Just completely been off radar, but still seeing everything that's going on. What I want to talk about today is a little different. Trump has been making so many things happen. I would love if we could make a campaign to get him to do the next thing would be to rid us of the HOAs here in the United States. Just get rid of them. It's a neighborhood cartel. They just take and accuse you of this and accuse you of that with warnings and taking photos of your home, I
don't have an HOA. Oh, goodness.
What in the world would make the entire board know?
Yes, neighbor that I wish never moved in.
I'm talking the entire board of 23andMe completely jumped ship last year. All of them. That's odd. It's almost just as odd as the Rh negative bloodline not even being discovered until 1937. Yeah, that's strange too. But not as strange as old Satan himself and even science having to say, even despite our best efforts, all of our work and all of our attempts to find it, we still, we just plain out haven't. We cannot find the origin of those with Rh negative, but we can say their origin is not from here, not of Earth. Seems like an awful lot of weird things going on there with that old Rh negative factor. Couple that with the 23andMe board completely jumping ship, well, it does seem as though something is amiss with those of us with Rh negative blood. That's not even discussing the fact that science has also proven, and if you are much like myself, one with Rh negative blood, you can attest most often you have at least a few of these things in common, just as science has also explained. You see, those with Rh negative blood, we have this beautiful large forehead head. Yeah, and it's actually become one of my favorite things. I would also assume that a large forehead would be necessary to house a large brain, because it seems those with Rh negative blood, much like myself, have genius or higher IQs. Our eyes change colors from green to blue and sometimes gray, and it's a very strange coincidence just how many of those with Rh negative blood were a part of the GATE program, GT, Gifted and Talented, which I also found very strange. They looked for one other thing on us, a scar on our forehead. My scar, well, just recently I've explained and discovered what that scar is part of. But another thing that those of us with Rh negative blood have that other regular people do not, the ability to see beyond the veil. As somebody who had been a psychic clairvoyant medium my entire
I'm not Rh negative, but I have all of those.
life since the age of 4, be able to see beyond the veil and see and speak with spirits. Please do not ask me for a reading. I denounced that in 2022 when I was born again. Every single day of my life, though, I have been a Christian. But I always thought that gift and ability was a gift from Yah, and that's why I never once charged for my reading. Never, ever once. And I was good. But along seeing beyond the veil,
Well, that boy. Are you on your game? What?
we've also got other abilities. Abilities that humans were never intended to have and never given. These are the types of gifts that are only given to the celestial entities. Gifts of remote viewing, psychic premonitions, aka discernment through the Holy Spirit, telekinesis. Did I already say remote viewing?
Thanks, boy.
Visions, prophetic dreams, and even healing. Those with Rh negative blood, well, those are the gifts that many of us have. So what is it that Satan was trying so desperately through 23andMe and Ancestry to discover? Well, apparently I've got the whole internet abuzz about that, but that's okay. Hey, at least I got him talking about Yah. And trust and believe, this is not the first time I've had people all abuzz with something that I have talked about. And for the majority of those things, all of those things I have talked about and had the internet abuzz on, well, they've since been all proven true. Aliens, a certain president's birth certificate, a firmament, flat earth, Oh, that thing in 2020 when I said, no, that's probably not a good idea to get that. And I did not. All of the things that I have known only through one way, my father. Well, this is just the latest, so I'll just sit back and watch. But obviously Satan is looking for something when it comes to people's DNA. And as somebody who was in the GATE program and Rh negative myself, trust me, they've been looking for this a lot longer than just the 23andMe. But as I like to let other people learn on their own, I will throw this little nugget out there for a certain specific friend of mine here on this app, because Yah said it right there in the Bible. Jeremiah 31:27-30. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will sow the house of Israel and the house of Judah, hang on to your britches, with the seed of man and with the seed of beast. And it shall come to pass, like as I have watched over them, aka the Nephilim. You're going to need to break out the book of Enoch, or do you even have that one? You know who I'm talking to. That like I have watched over them, to pluck up and to break down and to throw down and to destroy and to afflict. Yeah, that's the Nephilim. So will I watch over them to build, to plant, saith the Lord. The big guy upstairs, your father and mine. And in those days they shall say no more that the fathers have eaten a sour grape and the children's teeth are set on edge. Just like they saith about the Nephilim. Well, no longer will that be. Why? Because Yeshua will die on the cross. But everyone shall die for his own iniquity. Every man that eateth the sour grape, his teeth shall be set on edge. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah. I'm sorry, wasn't Yeshua the lion of the house of... Oh, that's right, Judah. And once you understand that Israel is not that land that they're talking about here on earth, but it is far more spiritual than just that, well, then maybe it'll get to be a little bit easier for you to discern. Well, no, maybe not for you, but to figure out that in those days, just like he said, he will mix the seed of the house of Judah, the same house that Yeshua was a part of, and the house of Israel. I'm going to let you figure that part out yourself. With the seed of man and with the seed of beast. And unlike the Nephilim, spoiler, no, I'm not even going to give you that. Unlike the Nephilim that he'd been watched to break down, destroy, afflict, destroy, cause war, oppress, no longer will it be that, because the house that he sows with seed and beast, he shall watch, plant up, and build, saith the Lord. All grace and glory be to Yah. Satan's sure looking pretty hard for something, or someone, or someone's. Now isn't he? Why do you suppose he'd do that? What in the world?
Let me just state here publicly, to head off any clever ideas anyone might be having, I have never been, am not now, and never will be suicidal.
But how would the public know if something happened to you, since we don't know who you are?
I'm taking care of that, trust me. If something happens to me, if I die, people will know who I am.
Do you think it's a reassuring sign that these aliens can communicate with us on a spiritual plane?
It would be nice to think so, but I'm not sure if it's really such an achievement considering the mismatch between our intellects. I mean, you're not going to have much luck making your dog understand calculus. But if you pet him on the head and say, "Good dog," aren't you communicating spiritually? And doesn't the animal control officer say, "Good dog," when he comes to put some poor stray to sleep? Doesn't the vet try to reassure the animal just before he spays it?
You removed the soundtrack from the tape before you turned it over to this program.
That's correct. I can't allow the voices of the project personnel to be heard by the general public. There's a very good chance their family or friends on the outside might recognize them.
Isn't your purpose in releasing this tape to expose Area 51 to the world?
My purpose is to expose the existence of the aliens, not compromise these individuals. I made the decision to come forward. I'm taking precautions to protect my own identity, and I don't think it's fair for me to put these others in danger of exposure. In any case, the interview on the tape went nowhere. It was interrupted, as you'll see.
Because of his unwillingness to reveal his own identity, Victor's story stands or falls on the credibility of the tape he supplied. Here, exclusively, for the first time anywhere, is the uncut, uninterrupted alien interview tape, shown in its entirety in real time.
Can you describe for us what we're seeing?
All right, we're looking at the interview suite at S4. It's kept dark for the comfort of the aliens. The figure who is just barely visible in the left foreground is the telepath, and behind the camera is a raked seating area for observers. Although in this case, I believe the only other person present was a military aide. The alien is seated behind a glass partition in a biocontainment area, which is maintained at biosafety level 2, the lowest designation. That's primarily for the protection of the aliens, not us. The theory is that if they were going to infect us with an alien bug, it would have happened 50 years ago. In fact, all the indications are the aliens eliminated microbial and viral life from their own ecosystem long ago. They aren't susceptible to our diseases directly, but it has been shown that microbes can reproduce and form colonies within their respiratory systems, which tends to exacerbate the debilities they seem to suffer anyway in our environment. In fact, you can see here the alien is beginning to flag. The interview was not going well. The telepath was trying to clarify some points from a previous interview, but he wasn't receiving coherent responses.
Well,
as you can see, the being is in real distress.
Yeah. Bad for him.
At this point, the telepath is sending out a message to the medical staff. He's trying to communicate with the alien, but he's getting no response. There's very little he can do. There's no direct connection between his space and the biocontainment area. That's the aide stepping in on the right. The medical staff should be there by now. They're slow in responding. There they are. I have to say the medical personnel at S4 are less than first rate. They tend to be selected for their willingness to keep secrets rather than their medical competence. By the way, he's not shining that light into the eyes. It looks that way, but in fact he's checking for hemorrhaging around the eye sockets and in the nasal cavity. I'm sorry. It's very hard for me to watch this.
Oh, it's so sad.
Like, comment, and share this video with as many people as possible so we can get the truth out there.
Poor fella.
Hello, friends. So what is an interdimensional? Is it some sort of an alien that's going to invade our planet, or is it simply an astral tourist who popped by accident and decided to take a look around? Let me tell you a story that's going to blow your mind and shift the way you look at interdimensionals, since this is a word that is making the headlines right now, especially after Anna Paulina Luna, one of our congresswomen, went on Joe Rogan and in front of millions of people said that the government has evidence of interdimensionals. And she said that word many times, and everyone on Twitter is like, what? So let me tell you the story about Tom Campbell and Robert Monroe, and it will put all this into perspective. So decades ago, Tom Campbell was doing an astral adventure. It was part of the Explorer series, you know, so they had this like elite team of astral explorers, and Robert Monroe would be the monitor, and he would kind of like guide them through these astral missions. One of the missions, Tom Campbell ended up in this like alternate Earth-like reality, right? He's talking to this woman who he can't determine exactly what she looks like, because he discovered that he was sort of consciously projecting this humanoid woman, but he didn't think that she actually was a humanoid woman, but that's what Tom saw in his consciousness. So Tom's there astrally, his body is back at the Monroe Institute, okay, physically. So while he's talking to this lady, the lady saw him as sort of this, almost like a virtual version, like an apparition of one of them, and she's communicating with it, because she's like, well, this is fascinating. Same way if like a kind of a ghost-like figure appeared in your living room, started talking to you, like intelligently. So she's communicating. And at one point in the communication, Tom starts apologizing because he's kind of flickering out on her side. And he's like, oh, sorry, back in my physical matter reality, I have a physical body, and I have an itch on my neck, and I'm scratching it, and my attention sort of, you know, bilocated over there for a minute, and I had to take care of that, and, you know, that's why I flickered over here, but I'm back. And she looked at him like he was absolutely bananas, and basically dismissed it the same way you dismiss a crazy thing that a crazy person said. And she's like, okay. And he realized that they had no idea. So it was this woman and this man, and they had no idea that there was any reality outside of their own. They had a very fixed physical matter reality. And he thought that was interesting. Just like how a lot of people here don't realize there's other realities and there's other entities and intelligences out there. So he started kind of investigating this place more, and the man, he was asking the man about like their physics and their sciences and that kind of stuff, and the guy pulled out like this blackboard, but it wasn't a blackboard, and started doing some kind of symbols and mathematics, kind of explaining their reality to Tom. And Tom, who is a NASA nuclear physicist, had no idea what the guy was talking about. So obviously their reality is far different than our reality, even though it seemed kind of similar. So they're in some sort of an alternate type Earth-like, you know, physical matter reality. But the thing is, when Tom's talking to them, they're seeing Tom as one of them. So the apparition that they saw looked like what their beings looked like, and Tom saw them, and the visual that he got of them was kind of human-like. And it makes you realize that when things are moving interdimensionally, they're not always going to be how they natively are. Sometimes our consciousness projects something we're comfortable with seeing. And that's why everything that we see here that's interdimensional has a humanoid look to it, and kind of human-like, and vice versa. So in this case, Tom went to their reality not as an invader, not as a occupier, not as anything. He was simply a tourist. He was doing an astral kind of recon mission just to kind of see what's out there as an observer. Stumbled upon this physical matter reality, found some people, had a conversation with them. They thought it was super fascinating because they had never seen anything like this, but they had no idea what to make of it because they didn't know that there was a reality outside of their own. So they had some sort of like life-changing spiritual, experience that probably led to all sorts of crazy questions, and who knows what their life was like after this encounter. And then Tom comes back and he's just like, oh yeah, I met these other beings in this other reality, yada yada. but that was an interdimensional experience, you know? And I think that that's happening a lot here. I think that when we see these beings, they're not always here to do anything nefarious or even with a plan. Sometimes it's just like walking down an astral hallway, opening a door, being like, oh, let's see what's in this place. And you just kind of explore a little bit. And I think that's a lot of what we're seeing. So you don't have to be scared about all this stuff. This is just the nature of the greater reality. But most people don't know it exists because why would you? But I'm here to tell you it does. So anyways, that's my take. That's Tom's experience. Let me know what y'all think. Have a beautiful day. Peace.
Peace.
Oh, bless you, Jesus. Look at that. How many?
That's amazing. Okay, so I've been obsessed with the sky and, cloud formations and as a kid, and a lot of it was because
Hello, friends. So what is...
my mom had passed away, and of course, I thought he's in heaven, and a lot of times I would think my mom painted that sunset or whatever because she's a really good artist, but I've gotten so many different pictures of human looking clouds, quite a bit. One an angel, another one was a woman with like her hair flowing back, and she was like leaning against the rainbow that was up in the sky. That's one of my favorite ones, but I don't think this is Bluebeam. This is something else.
Blessed Jesus, look at that. How many? Pastor, they're real clear in here, look.
Yeah, you can see them, can't you?
I wonder where this was.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, I tried to put that on Facebook so we can all get it.
I'm going to. I definitely am. Praise you, Jesus. Oh, I've never seen nothing like it in my life. Praise God.
So cool.
Look way over yonder, and what do you think I see? I
See a band of angels, Lord, they're coming after me. Ain't no grave.
When your ancestors send you a warning from beyond the grave, story time. Michelle and Travis had been dating for almost a year, and by this point, they decided to take their relationship to the next level, and they moved in together. Everything was going good. She really loved Travis. But not long after moving in together, the news started to wear off, and Travis's true colors began to show. He started getting really clingy, wanting all Michelle's attention, didn't want her to go to work. Michelle told Travis, "You talk to me all day, you know where I am. You got nothing to worry about." And he said, "I know, baby, I'm just being nervous. I don't want to lose you." So within a few weeks of moving in together, Michelle starts having these really weird dreams. In the first dream, Michelle is sitting out in this beautiful field when this woman walks up in a white, glowing dress. She recognizes this woman. It's her aunt. Now, Michelle's aunt had passed away a couple years prior, but they had always been close. She practically raised Michelle. So Michelle's aunt sits down beside of her, grabs her hand and says, "Michelle, I think you need to leave." But before Michelle could ask her aunt what she meant, her alarm went off as she woke up from the dream. So later, Michelle's at work when she gets a text from Travis that says, "Where are you? I know you're not at work, you lying." And Michelle calls him and says, "What is wrong with you? Why would you say that?" And he says, "I'm just stressed. I'm sorry." But the next night, she has the same dream again when she's sitting out in this beautiful green field when her aunt walks up in a white glowing dress and sits down beside of her and says, "Honey, you need to leave." But just like last time, before Michelle can say, "Wow, what's going on? What are you trying to tell me?" the alarm goes off and Michelle wakes up from the dream. Now, by this point, Travis's behavior has gotten ridiculous. When Michelle comes home from work, he starts picking fights. And he's also started accusing her of cheating with people that don't even exist. "Oh, I know you were down there seeing that guy with the blue shirt." Michelle's like, "No, I didn't. What are you talking about?" Well, Travis also starts comparing Michelle to his ex-girlfriends. "Well, they didn't do this. Well, they didn't eat that. Well, they didn't cook it this way. Well, you're getting fatter than what she was. Her hair was blonde." He was constantly comparing different things, which made Michelle really upset. Michelle just cannot.
No. Come on now. Yeah. I'm gonna change my views, you guys. Hopefully this is going to be
at the Monroe.
I wanted to hear the rest of that. I wanted to hear what happened.
Whew, it has been a wild week, but we do have an update in the case of
I'm about to lose my ish. Not your Tish. Come on, man. Conqueress. Happening. Yeah, this story right here is crazy. Button. Yep, right there. Sorry to freeze you like that, buddy.
6 weeks detained in Antarctica. His charges have been dropped and he's being told he can leave. But despite this, he's saying that they still won't let him fly out. Here's what else he told me. While being stranded in Antarctica, his health has taken a turn. He's lost 20% of his body weight and is suffering from a swollen heart. He said the Chilean base in Antarctica has had to start rationing food because of failed supply runs. So for breakfast, he's been given 100 grams of bread with a teaspoon of butter. And for dinner, he said that they're having to share out about 1 kg of meat between dozens of people. But it gets even crazier, because just a few days ago, charges against him were dropped and he's technically and legally allowed to leave. One of the main accusations against Ethan was that he landed in Chilean-governed Antarctica without authorization. But his defense argued and submitted evidence which included WhatsApp messages and audio files suggesting that Ethan's flight was in fact altered with the knowledge of DGAC officials and that he was given specific permission to land at Tennant Marsh Airfield for safety reasons.
November 182 Whiskey Tango, clear to land runway 29. Clear land on runway 29, do a stand up. We got you inside. Roger, thank you, do a stand up.
Ethan's defense claimed that he broke no rules and maintains he was innocent. Either way, the judge has now ultimately dropped the case after they came to an agreement that Ethan will now donate $30,000 to a children's cancer foundation and also be banned from Chilean territory for 3 years. Problem is, despite this, he's still stuck there. Everyone is. He said the DGAC don't want to take the risk of authorizing him to fly out because they believe that the weather is too dangerous and that he doesn't have enough fuel or the skill to make the flight. They literally hit bro with a skill issue. Now, Ethan disputes all of this. As of right now, Ethan remains stranded in Antarctica, but as things develop, I'll keep you guys updated. Okay, this is
the worst feeling for a man is when he tries to have a conversation with a woman about her behavior that hurts him every day. But instead of listening, she gets angry and turns the situation around on him and makes him look like he's the problem. He just wanted to be heard. He just wanted to feel understood. But instead, he ends up questioning himself. He goes quiet. Not because he's okay, but because he's tired of being unheard. It's not drama. It's not nagging. It's his heart asking for effort, for change.
This rapper says he actually met the devil. Watch this.
Hey, you had an encounter with the devil? Yeah, I got booked for a photo shoot. They took me all the way up this mountain. I was on top of the mountain. We finished the photo shoot. They have OD cars. They got a 3-seater McLaren. They got a Ferrari. And I'm asking them, like, how y'all get all this money? And like, we do demonic rituals. I'm laughing. No, you don't, bro. I'm like, how you get this money? Don't put me on. I'm trying to get like y'all. I'm like, no, we do demonic ritual. I say, so what type of demonic ritual? He say, the Illuminati never talk to you. I'm laughing. I'm still laughing at him, like, bro, you playing a game. Like, they like, bro, no, for real. Leonardo DiCaprio do all the initiation. I'm like, what? I'm like, who is that? What is you talking about, gang? Keep it PG-13. He was basically saying, either you let him peg you or you do oral, and you'll get whatever you want. If you want to be the next big actress, next big whoever, I can take you to somebody. And all you got to do is just do what they want to do to you. Just for a night. Do some gay, basically do some gay. They doing all this, I'm trying to call my Uber. We on top of the mountain though. I don't got no service. The people who booked me left. After they leave, I'm in the car with the other dude that they called to have a photo shoot with me. I get in the car with him in the 3-seater McLaren. On the way up, we go all the way up, like in the swivel, like all the way around the mountain. Yeah. On the way down, we take a right. So he not going the same way that we came up. So then that's what I tried. I'm like, take me to go get some McDonald's. Yeah. He said, we not gonna take you to get no McDonald's. We spent all this money to get you up here. This face change game in front of me. You see Venom?
His face change, yo.
Yeah, like Spider-Man? Yeah, from Spider-Man. Kind of like that. Probably about this wide. Face change. I'm like, what the? Like, it's probably about like right here. Like, see somebody morph into something? Yeah. It's like that. It threw me all the way off. We in the 3-seater McLaren, so it's like a button you gotta push to get up out of there. Gotcha. He smack on mailbox. So now he hit the button and he get up out of there. He hit the button and get up out of there. I see the button. I'm getting up out of there too. I hit the button. Get what? It's a mailman come out of nowhere. I run up to him. I'm like, hey, bro, let me get in back your truck. He looked at me like, well, yeah, no. I look at him. I'm like, bro, just let me get in back your truck. I'm like, please, just take me down. Take me down to the bottom. Please, just take me down to the bottom. It was God. He took me down to the bottom. Like, people on the camera, you ain't got to believe me. I don't care. I really saw this. I believe it. And it made me, that's what made me know that the devil and God was real.
This rapper says he actually met the...
They would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for us meddling kids on the internet. Do you know who that is? Do you know what he did? You have no idea. Comment below if you think you know, though. Don't cheat. Now, while you're guessing, let me explain. We could have been living in a world where we create our own fuel for our cars and our homes, right in our backyard. But one man's empire changed everything. Imagine people creating alcohol and using alcohol to fuel their vehicles. Instead of paying a gas bill, you create your own alcohol to fuel your home. Prohibition hit in 1920. The story you were told? It was about morals, sin. But here's the twist. When they banned alcohol, they didn't just ban drinking alcohol. They banned ethanol, industrial alcohol, the fuel Americans were making at home. Why? Well, this man was the founder of Standard Oil. He donated millions to Prohibition's biggest lobbyist group, the Anti-Saloon League. A coincidence, I guess. Oh, but the government didn't stop there. To stop the bootleggers, they poisoned industrial alcohol with methanol, benzene, kerosene. The result? Over 10,000 deaths. Ethanol became feared. Its reputation sunk. So I wonder, what was the only safe option? Oil. Oh yes, this man was John D. Rockefeller, Mr. Oil himself. He didn't need to outlaw ethanol directly. He could just fund the movement and then watch the system eliminate his competition. That's what we call regulatory capture. Was prohibition about drinking? A convenient moral cover for a monopoly takeover? Or both? You see, what these people fear the most is that we create a self-sustaining system, therefore decentralizing power. If you want to escape the matrix, never have to worry about mortgage bills again, read FAMS. The free audiobook is in the link at the top of the page. I love you all. Peace.
The Coral Castle. So cool.
Coral Castle is basically a megalithic structure in southern Florida. It's made of like 3,300 tons of limestone, over like a dozen or so monuments that the single guy made over the course of 25 years, all on his own, using no power tools whatsoever. And no one knows how he did it. There's all these celestial illusions that are made, and then all of his monuments are set up celestially, so he has all of the planets in their proper order as the naked eye would see them in the sky. The capstone for me, there's a really rudimentary and frankly like scary looking carving of an alien-like face inside one of the stones. And so the idea is that this guy had either found or been given this celestial knowledge from celestial beings on how to make these megalithic structures. And so if you think like if this guy was able to do that all by himself over the course of 15 years, think of what the Egyptians would have been able to do. Yeah. It was an 11-ton gate. It was so precisely set up on a single ball bearing that he had drilled into the ground that you could walk up to it and a child could push it with a finger and it would spin around.
They didn't even know about the bearing until world. Well after his death, it stopped working. And so a team of engineers basically jacks it up, and they go, let's try to figure this out. And they found it was like from an old Ford truck or something. And he had so perfectly carved and balanced this thing that it took a team of engineers and heavy equipment to fix it. And this guy had done it by himself.
Yeah.
In the dark.
Yeah, it's crazy.
In the dark, yeah.
Coral castles, that's blowing my mind right now. Because that, I mean, what year was that?
It was early 1900s.
Yes.
How is this not a bigger story? That's crazy.
The Coral Castle.
Anybody else noticing weird, odd things in the storms that are raging across the world right now?
Giving me the chills.
Well, this particular video comes out of Mexico from an Uber driver. They saw something standing on top of a building and have no idea what it is. It's an extremely tall, dark figure.
It's floating.
And he was sitting there for a minute waiting for his rider. And the thing never
Feet aren't
moved,
touching.
never left. But it's something. Take a look at this, comment below, tell me what you think this could be.
It's freaky, that's what that is.
Out of Area 51 that the tape we are about to show you was supposedly smuggled.
On Friday, July 26, 1996, the offices of Rocket Pictures, a producer-distributor of motion pictures and television programs, received a phone call. A male voice, identifying himself only as Victor, claimed to be in possession of a videotaped interview with an extraterrestrial being. Tom Coleman, president of Rocket Pictures, was intrigued enough to take the call.
I, of course, thought this was some hoax. In fact, I thought it might have even been my brother at one point. But as we spoke, this was someone who seemed to be very serious. We went back and forth on this, and I basically decided that, you know, this is a little bit too weird for me. Thank you and goodbye. As I hung up,
goodbye.
I had a very strange feeling that maybe, just maybe, there was something here. He said he had a tape of a space alien, an ET, that was being held in a military installation in Nevada. I'm not sure as a prisoner or a guest. And he had this on tape.
Are the inconsistencies between various tales coming out of Area 51 evidence that these stories are lies? Or are the discrepancies the result of an intentional campaign of disinformation designed to discredit any elements of truth that may be reaching the public?
If so, how does Victor fit into the jigsaw puzzle of questionable witnesses to the alien presence at Area 51? Is he a hoaxer, a government dupe, or a frightened whistleblower with the hard evidence to back up his story?
I made it very clear to Victor that his credibility was the entire issue here, and that everybody's going to think this is a hoax, and that how are they going to possibly verify this? What he said was, you can do anything you want in terms of verified, any type of due diligence. He will answer whatever questions put forward. We could do whatever type of checking. We could bring in experts. We could have the tape tested. We could, in fact, he encouraged all of these aspects. He just did not want his face and his real name revealed.
At Coleman's insistence, Victor agreed reluctantly to appear on camera, but only in disguise, in shadow, and with his voice electronically altered. The questions were agreed upon in advance, but during the actual interview, the discussion occasionally deviated from Victor's approved questions.
Out of Area 51 that the tape we are about to show.
If I would have known
that you wouldn't be here anymore. I would have made.
Welcome in, boo. How are you? Madam Clay. Hey, baby. Sees all, knows all, and smells all.
Y'all know what Google is, right?
Yeah, but on that note, boys and girls, we go to our first music break. On this break, we have Gravity from Krakow, Poland, singing Last Goodbye, Take a Walk in My Shoes, Throw You Away, and then Dan Medina, who was originally a member of Gravity, from Krakow, Poland, with I Won't Wait. Then we have Mr. Fred Johnson III, Sugar, and he's in Canyon County, California. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this music break.
Door again, running in circles, losing my head. I never been good enough for you, so why can't you see anything I do to save you? Can save me, so why don't you try? No matter what you tell me, tonight I'm gonna say my last goodbye. Here I am, kneeling on my knees again, running circles, losing my head. I never been good enough for you, so why can't you see anything I do? You say you can save me, so why don't you try? No matter what you tell me, tonight I'm gonna say my last goodbye. Oh. You say you can save me, so why don't you try? No matter what you tell me, tonight I'm gonna say my last goodbye. Oh. My last goodbye. So I walk down the street, thinking all the things you said you need. Well, don't you tell me, baby, how do you feel? So I walk down the street, thinking all the things you said you need. Well, don't you tell me, baby, how do you feel? Don't you take a walk? Well, don't you take a walk in my shoes, why don't you take a walk? Before you tell me what to do, don't you take a walk? Don't you take a walk? My shoes, why don't you take a walk? Before you tell me what to do. No, it's easy, you tell me what to do. Have you ever stopped to think all the things that I've been through? No, it's easy, you tell me what to do. Have you ever stopped to think all the things that I've been through? Don't you take a walk? Don't you take a walk in my shoes? Or don't you, baby, take a walk before you tell me what to do? Don't you take a walk? Don't you take a walk in my shoes? Or don't you, baby, take a walk before you tell me what to do? things come being said. Streets of these are going to dead end. Listening to waves on windy days, standing by the wall, making sense of it all. So alone in the dark, all alone in the dark, all alone in the dark. You're alone in the dark. 'Cause I won't let you go. You're so far away, always with my soul. I won't let you go. Oh, you're so far away, always with me in my soul. Yeah, yeah. Looking for a reason, not a lead. Mystified, lives inside a world selling us all. Oh, she's alone in the dark, all alone in the dark, all alone in the dark, so alone in the dark. 'Cause I won't let you go. I won't let you go. You're so far away, always with me in my soul. Yeah, yeah. And I won't let you go. let our love go wrong, my sugar.
I love Fred Johnson III. He is amazing. Love his music. Mute myself. Sound system. Hello. Welcome back. Or Trippy TikToks. And all the way down there. But yeah, it makes the screen bigger. I like that. Sorry, I froze you on that. I keep freezing people on really bad scenes.
Search engine, you know what it actually is? It's a number. And it's 1 with 100 zeros after it. That's a Google. And a Googleplex is 1 with a Google zeros after it. And there is a 1 in a Googleplex chance that a Mars-sized planet 4 billion years ago smashed into the side of Earth and collected into a moon that just so happens to be orbiting Earth and spinning at just the right trajectory that we only ever see since the beginning of recorded time. One side of this tidally locked moon. 1 in a Googleplex chances. Because it's actually completely impossible. Right? Also,
you would think
the chance of nothing all of a sudden exploding into everything is a 1 in a Googleplex chance of ever occurring. And you know, you think about natural selection, right? Random chance, natural selection. Oh, yeah, nature's just running its course, and these creatures just decide to start making fine-tuning genetic changes to adapt and form to their environment. Not only their environment today, but peering on to a million years down the future, they have to start making these tiny, precise genetic changes in order to adapt to... Think about this. Y'all people who don't believe in any creator or intelligent design, you realize that even the fact of adaptation and the theory of evolution require a conscious mind to start making those genetic adaptive changes to form and mold into the environment around them. You think that all happens by chance? No. You think that a butterfly that mimics the pattern on its wings of a poisonous butterfly to keep itself from being eaten by... You think that is chance? Or does that sound a little bit like design? Y'all need to think a little bit. Y'all know what Google is.
We got 6 of cups on the bottom of the deck, okay? And I'm like literally hearing... You're somebody who is about to step out the fucking shadows, like...
Sarah. Her name was Sarah. Who was Sarah? Well, let's just say she was a princess. Born of a king. Long, long ago. Meh, what's in a name? Well, actually, quite a lot. Did you know Colette means victorious in battle? Yes. Thank you, pew, pew, pew. No joke, I've been fighting since I was placed in the womb. Literally, that is no joke. Originally, my mom wanted to name me Nicolette after my uncle Nick. But my dad hated that name. And I think I know why. It sounds an awful lot like the Nicolaitans. You know those ones. 33 seconds. Yeah. Confirmation. Thank you, Abba. The ones that Yah does not like. Either way, they landed on Colette. Victorious in battle. Yeah. But names, biblically speaking, whew. Well, let's just say nothing our Father does is on accident. And just looking at the names in Genesis alone will prove to you just what a beautiful story our Father has written. Every single second, every single step, and every single name. Well, especially if they're in Genesis. If you look into it, you'll find it tells a story. Let's start with the first man, Adam, which actually means man. The next, Seth, means appointed. Enosh, mortal. Kenan, sorrow. Mahalalel, the blessed God. Jared means shall come down. Enoch, my man Enoch, yeah. His name means teaching. And his son Methuselah, the oldest man ever to live, his name means his death shall bring. Lamech, or Lamech, means the despairing. and Noah means rest or comfort. Let's put it all together now, shall we? Because y'all wrote a little song about it. I'd like to hear it. Here it goes. Man is appointed mortal sorrow, but the blessed Yah shall come down, teaching that his death shall bring the despairing rest and comfort. What? Ooh, Yah for the mic drop. But there's something else in here. There's something more important that I caught just now. Know his name, that he shall bring rest, or it also means comfort. You see, here in the end of days, we know, those of us with the Holy Spirit, we will be raptured up. Why? Well, because if you have claimed that Yeshua is your Lord and Savior, King of Kings, Lord of Lords, and that he came down on this earth, Yah, in the form of a man, died on that cross for the sins and the salvation of all who claim him as their Lord and Savior, and that on the third day he rose, Yah will give you the gift that he has promised to everyone, the most beautiful gift of all, the Holy Spirit. And Yeshua had explained when he was passing, I must go so that the Comforter can come to you. So when Noah's name means that the man, Son of Man, will come down and give the despairing rest or comfort, well, he'll give us rest, but by leaving, by dying on that cross, by that we were able to get, and we were promised, the Comforter, the Holy Spirit. Ooh, I just love Abba. Ooh, every single name chosen in that book was chosen for a reason. Even my name, Colette, I understand now why I was named that through my earthly parents. Trust and believe I am a warrior, and I am a good one. Pew, pew, pew. Colette, victorious in battle. But now I want to talk about Sarah, a little princess who was born to a king long time ago. Not Abraham's wife, but Yeshua's child. The Holy Grail.
Oh,
the vessel, not a cup, that contained the most precious, powerful, and precious thing in the world. The blood, the DNA of our Lord and Savior. Mary Magdalene and Yeshua's child. Pew, pew, pew. TikTok won't let me make myself small. The biblical name Sarah, meaning princess, is derived from the Hebrew word Sarah. Initially, her name was Sarai. This is about Abraham's wife.
Yeah.
Which meant my princess or queen. God changed her name to Sarah as part of the covenant with Abraham, signifying her role as the mother of many nations. In the Hebrew and biblical terms, Sarah means princess. But also, Sarah was blessed by God to become a royal princess. She would be a mother of nations to come. She would also be a mother of kings of people. Royal lineages would come from her. She would be the mother of the royal line of King David, from which the Savior would come. The change from Sarai to Sarah is significant, marking a shift in her identity and her divinely appointed role as the mother of the chosen people. Now remember, Yah does nothing on accident. And although originally that was about Sarah, Abraham's wife, the father of many nations, I think it is a beautiful, more elegantly intentional choice of names that Mary and Yeshua would choose for their daughter, the princess, the mother of many nations and kings to come, and the mother of a royal priesthood and a bloodline. What an absolutely beautiful and fitting name. And now I understand why Yah had changed it, because he knew one day Yeshua and Mary would have a beautiful daughter, a princess, who would one day become a queen, the mother of a new nation, a new royal bloodline, and the beginning of the most beautiful, peculiar people, the new seed of a chosen people far to come, of a royal priesthood. Yah's chosen, that in the end of days, that holy grail, the vessel that contains Yah's DNA, Yeshua's DNA, and Mary Magdalene's DNA, would one day spring up, wake up, and stand up in Yah's magnificent celestial army, right here, right now, here in the end of days. So what's in a name? Well, when it comes to our Father, everything. And this is why Yeshua and Mary chose to name their daughter Sarah, because she would in fact be a little princess who would become a queen and the mother of a chosen, peculiar, royal bloodline, the Holy Grail of Yeshua's DNA, kept secret, that has survived and is now standing, walking, talking amongst us, many vessels of Holy Grails, because through Sarah, the lineage of Yeshua, it lived on. Sarah, her name was Sarah. Who is Sarah?
Hello, friends. Are demons actually egregores, a collective thought form that our collective unconscious projects out, and they act as sort of a energetic buffer or sewer system for the negative energy of our world, so that it's diverted into these egregores and not seeping back into the greater universe, where it will infect and cause problems to the parts of the universe that operate at a much higher level of consciousness. Now, let me break this down, because I know that was a lot. So people talk about demons and the demonic and things like this as if it's like a separate entity that's there to cause destruction and harm to us, and we have to fight it off, right? Well, what if it's different than that? So think about the law of conservation of energy and how it states that we cannot create nor destroy energy, just transmute it. Well, there's 8 billion of us here, and we create a lot of energy, good and bad, positive and negative. It serves as a feedback, because this is, after all, a simulator for consciousness development. We come into this physical world, so our non-physical consciousness can enter into an avatar, have the memory wipe, have free will decisions, and have this physical experience, which creates a higher level and higher quality of consciousness outside of it. Same reason a pilot uses a flight simulator. Okay, well, when you do that, you make free will decisions, good and bad. And there's 8 billion of us, so there's a lot of bad decisions being made. A lot of negative energy is being put out there. Where does that negative energy go? It has to go somewhere. Well, if it were to become too much and it were to seep into the greater universe, it would kind of infect and cause a lot of problems into the universe, which is operating at a much more pure state. And the whole point of this simulator that we're in is that it's a closed system. This world, as expansive and amazing and beautiful as it is a closed system, and it's done on purpose that way so that the consciousness can enter into here and have all these experiences and not have to worry about causing any harm to the outside universe. Like I said, when a pilot uses a flight simulator, he knows that even if he crashes that airplane in the flight simulator, it's not going to actually hurt anybody because it's all virtual. So he doesn't have to worry about any negative repercussions coming from his training in that simulator. Well, that's what souls come to Earth for. But since this is such a massive multiplayer game, and there is just so much energy that is produced from these experiences, well, it has to go somewhere. And there's a feedback mechanism. You know, they when you do something good, good things happen. Do something bad, bad things happen. You know, you can attract good, energy from putting out good energy, and vice versa. This is a feedback mechanism that it's built into the simulator. Well, whenever people do good things and good energy comes back to them, they use that good energy. You embody it. You see, yay, good energy, and you can usually use it to amplify, creative endeavors and things like that. But when you do bad things, then that negative energy comes back around, and we're very bad at transmuting that energy. We're very bad at doing our shadow work. We're very bad at taking responsibility for our bad actions. We suppress everything. We ignore everything. We run away from our fears. So that energy has to go somewhere. It's just piling up and piling up. Well, it seems like the simulator is creating, well, our subconscious, our collective unconscious is creating these egregores, these thought forms. But it seems like it's a feature of the simulator. It's like an energy management system. And then when these thought forms get big enough and powerful enough, then we have to confront them. They show up in ways that it's undeniable. You can't run away from it anymore. You have to confront these things. When you do confront it, you transmute that energy. I mean, that's why when people have very traumatic, terrible experiences in their life, usually on the other side of that comes a compassion and love and empathy that they didn't have before. You transmuted that energy. You took the bad and turned it into good. Well, that only happens if you're forced to confront it. We run from that shit as much as we can. But every once in a while, you got to confront it. And that's what these egregores are. And that's what demons are. Demons are a result of our own subconscious anguish and fears and things like hate and these lower vibrations.
Okay, so interrupting really quick. I had a friend. We're no longer friends because when somebody tries to help you, you should try to help them, right? Anywho's, believe that demons or ghosts are actually demons. But what are they really? I think it's possible that go on with scripture and stuff, Satan, Lucifer, whatever you want. Heaven. And with them, is it like a tenth of the hosts of heaven? But there was quite a bit cast down with him, so the fallen angels. And then there's another discussion going on that people are wondering, Are aliens fallen angels? About definitely something to think. It's interesting and intriguing. You remember that back from the day? Be one of my favorite lines.
Emotions and energy that eventually get so powerful that they form like a sentient thought form of its own, independent from us, and it serves as like a boss on a level of a game, and you have to defeat that boss if you want to go on. So just a different way to look at demons and reality in general. Let me know what you guys think about this. Have a beautiful day. Peace.
Peace.
Let's talk about what happened at Devil's Den. On July 26th, a tragedy occurred, and one.
Yeah, this place is like 10 minutes from my big brother's house in Arkansas. So yeah, he's up in here somewhere. Devil's Den's right here. And I believe this is the pig trail. That thing is crazy. Maybe it's up here. Hold on. Bayfield. Anyways, here, Devil Den's Hill.
One of Arkansas's most popular state parks. It was a hot but beautiful Saturday, and 43-year-old Clinton Brink and his wife, 41-year-old Kristen Brink, and their two daughters, ages 7 and 9, decided to go explore Devil's Den State Park. I have talked about Devil's Den before. It is an absolutely beautiful 2,500-acre state park in the Ozarks, and it offers a variety of...
Okay, so that's what I was trying to remember. Okay, so we went by there. That's why I'm thinking that's on the pig trail or at the bottom of the pig trail, but perhaps it's a different state park because there's so many parks in Arkansas. But one night driving back from going to visit my mother's grave with my brother, a Black Panther on the side of the road. And I saw it. My brother didn't, but he said he had seen a Black Panther in about the same area. And there's no such thing as Black Panthers. They're actually, black jaguars or what. But no, I saw a Black Panther and it was like probably going to cross the road, but we were coming along, so it like crouched down like this. Crazy and amazing. What a beautiful creature. But I know for sure I'll never go to that park to take a hike. I might get it.
Of hiking trails and historical sites, crevice caves, and some breathtaking views. But it's also a place where many strange things have happened. Disappearances, alleged suicides, unsolved deaths. And as you can see, it's also very remote.
Yeah, and if you don't want something bad to happen to you, like get murdered, death, killed, or you go missing, or something, don't ever go to a place named Devil on it. Really, bad, crazy stuff happens there for some of you.
And very rugged. It's not exactly the safe place a lot of people assume that it is. The family was walking the Devil's Den Trail when they were attacked by a man wearing dark pants, a long-sleeve black shirt. He did have the sleeves rolled up, a hat, and fingerless gloves, and he was carrying some type of large black backpack. Clinton was attacked first, and he fought hard to keep this man away from his wife and his daughters. Kristen grabbed the girls, and she told them to run as far and fast as they could. One of the little girls later said that they ran until they could not hear their mom screaming anymore.
Okay, so from what I understood, she ran with the kids, and maybe she stopped to go back to help her husband, and she told them just to keep running, like running till... Imagine. And this guy was a freaking elementary school teacher. I'm trying to control my language. What the frack is going on in this world? And also, they're thinking that this guy is actually connected with some moited death kills up north, New Jersey.
There are different versions of how the girls got away, though. The first story to circulate said that Kristen took the girls to the car and then returned to help her husband. Another said she ran the girls to the visitor center and then returned. And yet another says that she tried to shield them as much as she could before telling them to run. But no matter which way it actually occurred, one thing is for certain. Their mom did everything she could to protect her baby.
And to be honest, I get you're loyal to your partner, but your kids need you. And what was she going to do to this guy to protect her husband? Nothing. Unless she had a gun or something. That'd be different. But pretty sure she didn't, because she is DEAD too.
Before her life was cruelly taken. The girl.
And they're also not originally from this area. They had just moved to the area about a week before from some other place. I don't know. For babies.
Girls are safe and are with family. But around 2:40 p.m., Clinton and Kristen were found dead on the trail. They both had been stabbed. There was no sign of their attacker, but it was believed that he left the park in a black 4-door sports car that was reported as possibly a Mazda, with a license plate that had been covered up with tape. That alone suggests some level of premeditation, but this is turning into a very strange case that occurred in a very strange place. The Brink family was new to this area.
Too.
They had just recently moved to Prairie Grove. It appears that they both were originally from California. Around 2018, they lived in Miles City, Montana for a few years,
brother lives,
and then they moved to South Dakota, where Clinton worked for Prairie Farms Dairy before transferring to Highland Dairy in Fayetteville. He was scheduled to begin his new job the Monday after this attack. And Kristen had been a registered nurse in Montana and in South Dakota before their move, and they had just moved. The couple just had their water turned on in their new home on July 16th, only 10 days before this happened. There was a manhunt for the suspect for days. A composite sketch was released, and then a photo was released showing the man from behind.
Was he
then,
spun
just a
out
couple
or
of days
what?
ago, an arrest was made. At 4:57 p.m. on Wednesday, July 30th, police arrested 28-year-old Andrew James McGann while he was receiving a haircut at Lupita's Beauty Salon.
And guess what? Okay, so this is crazy because I've been in this area. I lived over here in Fayetteville. I was born over there. Another place. I grew up a little bit in Prairie Grove, Fayetteville. Lived in Paris and Ozark. He was an elementary school teacher and changed jobs 3 times, thrice within a year. It's like, okay, just to be a substitute, which is what I've done before. Might do it again, but like I'm a person until, unless I stay up, until the sun comes up, which is generally what happens. Then I go to bed because the sun's coming up. I gotta go down. Otherwise, I'm not going to get any sleep. But reported to have been inappropriate with girls in his class. He was known to favor girls, and then there was one girl that he had sitting on his lap, and he was telling her how he wished she could be his girlfriend. Are you freaking serious? I'm so glad this guy got caught. And I'm thinking bad thoughts. I should not think bad things towards people, but this guy did. Like, he not only ended 2 lives, he basically might have ended 2 others, so he might have ended 4 lives. It's like molestation or things like this that are very traumatic can really mess somebody up for the rest of their lives. So really, the family that has them can really help get past. They're never going to get over it, but hopefully get past all the craziness going on there. I'm so glad they caught his ass.
In Springdale. He was only halfway through the cut when he was arrested, so he left looking real crazy. And I love that for him. But what makes this all the more confusing is that he also was new to this area. Andrew, or Drew McGann, recently relocated from Oklahoma to Springdale. And to make matters even worse, like it's not already bad enough, this man is an elementary school teacher. A freaking teacher! He previously worked at Donald Elementary in Flower Mound, Texas, before he was reported for inappropriate behavior towards the little girls. The administration allowed him to resign with no further consequences, and he went on to teach in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, where he started as a substitute teacher and then worked as a 4th grade math and science teacher. Then he moved to Springdale, Arkansas.
Oklahoma, no, Texas. Texas really dropped the ball on this one. Had you with this correctly and actually pressed charges and kept him from being a teacher again, he would not have moved there and done what the crap that he did. Oh my gosh.
And on June 12th, an elementary school there announced that they had hired Drew McGann to teach 3rd grade there. Upon his arrest, he allegedly confessed to the brutal double murder. But the confession wasn't even really needed because there is plenty of evidence linking this man to this crime. During the struggle, he sustained cuts to his hands from the couple fighting back. His blood was found on the scene, and DNA from the attack was found in his car and in his residence. Items found in the suspect photo, probably the backpack, was also found in his home, along with several knives.
And I wonder who took this picture. Like, he must have just been giving off some really messed up, eerie energy for somebody to be like, hey, I need to take a picture of this guy. Oh my gosh. Sorry.
Though they don't know if any of them are the actual weapon used. He has been charged with 2 counts of capital murder, and the state will pursue the death penalty. And while this crime has clear signs of premeditation, the covered license plate, the prowling the park in all black, and the scorching heat, yet there seems to be no connection between him and the Brink family. And there's also no clear motive. The Arkansas State Police Director called it a completely random event, which does happen, but this still seems incredibly odd to me. According to witnesses, there were many people on the trails that day. If he was searching for a target, just any random target, it doesn't seem like a family of 4 would have been that easy of one. Some think this...
You know what I think? I think that he targeted them because they had 2 little girls. And he's obviously messed up in the head. He was probably molested as a kid too. That's generally how it happens. He was going to kill them and take their children, and luckily the mother had the forethought to tell them to run, don't look back. Don't look back, just run. For babies.
This man could have been targeting their girls, planning to abduct them. But I would think that he probably could have caught up with them if he really wanted to. So I just...
No, probably pretty smart.
Some have expressed doubt that they even got the right guy, and seem to especially question the 2 different mugshots because of how different he looks in them. And look, while y'all know that I am more than happy to poke my fingers in any holes in any story, this does not seem that strange to me. In the first, it seems that he had attempted to straighten or blow out his curls, and the second was likely taken after he was hosed down, and they sprayed all that anti-bug stuff in his hair, which happens to everybody booked into jail. I think his hair just curled back up, which the curly girls understand, okay? All it takes is really the idea of water for your curls to come back. I don't doubt that this is the perpetrator of this terrible crime. I mean, look at his eyes. It's always in the eyes, y'all. The real question that remains is why? Why did this happen? Why this family? And what are the odds that the attacker and the victims were all new to the area? That is just really strange to me. But this is about all that we know right now. But I will keep y'all updated as new information is released. Let's talk about what happened in
Amber.
So I am on a quest to find a vampire killing kit while I'm in Eastern Europe. I've already been to Budapest, no luck. Prague, no luck. I'm in Warsaw, Poland right now. And in Polish, they have a word called upior, which is a vampire-like entity. And archaeological digs here have shown this fear of vampires.
Come back. Come back, Jack. Jack, come back. Yep. I don't know what's going on here. Come on. We have a friend over this evening, and she is on her device, so we can hold my boy real quick.
Let's talk about what happened at Devil's.
Hey, if Rory's still in the bedroom on her device, can you tell her to get off and just hang out with you guys? And yes, it is. Yeah, she needs to get off there. There should be no gaming happening tonight because of the podcast, and you guys should just be watching a movie together or something. Alrighty.
So I am on a quest to find a vampire killing kit while I'm in Eastern Europe. I've already been to Budapest, no luck. Prague, no luck. I'm in Warsaw, Poland right now.
In about another
in Polish,
hour,
they have a word called upior, which is a vampire-like entity. And archaeological digs
shut it
here
down.
have shown this
except
fear
for the TV.
of vampires. In excavations that they've done,
Alrighty, thanks,
they
boy.
have found bodies with severed heads placed between the legs. They have found bodies with stakes, either iron or wood, driven through the torso or the heart, hoping to pin the body down. And these are typically individuals who suffered a violent death that were maybe coming back seeking revenge. And
thank you.
There are even cases where sickles were placed across the neck, but there was a fear of these vampire-like characters. And so while I'm here, I have all day, and today's a good day. It looks like it's going to rain. It's early in the morning. There's really hardly anybody out.
We got a couple sprinkles, but we didn't get
here in Warsaw.
Full-fledged rain like we need.
It looks like it's going to rain. I'm going to go dig through these old antique shops, and really, you can follow along and see what I find.
And isn't that awesome that the band that we played for first hour is from Krakow, Poland, and this is Warsaw, Poland? I just had to check really quick. I'm like, is that Poland or is that Russia? It is definitely Poland. That's awesome.
Cruising around Old Town, walking, looking in shops. Walked into this
Christopher
place,
Walken.
all kinds of cool antiques you can see if you look around.
You
and
don't understand.
You know what I found?
What'd you find?
A vampire killing kit. Check that out.
Yes, that is awesome. Is that like old school? I can't tell, but that is freaking epic. Wow.
Crucifix, exorcism manual. I mean, that's pretty cool if you ask me.
Dude, seriously.
This vampire killing kit.
That's amazeballs.
So I am on a...
These are the 5 most useful plants in the world. 1. Lavender. This flower releases a calming and delightful fragrance that humans love, but mosquitoes hate. Keep lavender nearby and you'll have a natural mosquito repellent. 2. Snake plant. It's not just a pretty decoration. The snake plant purifies the air in your home by absorbing toxins through its leaves and releasing fresh oxygen. Think of it as nature's air purifier. 3. English ivy. English ivy reduces airborne microorganisms like mold spores and even fecal particles. That's right, you heard correctly.
Put it in your bathroom.
This plant does the dirty work so you don't have to. 4. Aloe vera. It's basically a first aid kit in plant form. Got a cut or a burn? Just break a leaf and apply its soothing gel. 5. Spider plant. This plant is a powerhouse at removing formaldehyde and xylene from the air. Plus, it's safe for pets, so your furry friends are in good company. If you're not following, you'll probably never see us again. But if you are, then congratulations. You're growing every day.
Thank you so much. That's amazing.
I hope the word. Hey, this for your boyfriend.
Oh, no.
Look, I hope you only attract me. I hope every room smell like booty juice as soon as you walk in. I hope your girlfriend fuck on all your friends. I hope you take her back and that bitch do that shit again. I hope every girl you buy is fucking broke. I hope it starts snowing inside your house and your broke ass ain't got no coat. I hope your barber sneeze doing your edge up. No, I hope
I love this guy.
And nobody ever
Just good.
I hope when you shoot it, bitches, they just laugh. I hope your son turn 14, pull up to your job and beat your ass. I hope your rent go up $300. I hope if you ain't got no rent, shoot, you get kicked out of your mama's. I hope somebody cut off all your dreads. I hope every time you get up out the car, a bird shit up on your head. I hope your mama fall in love with one of your wives. I hope they get married and she get mad if your ass don't call him pops. I hope the worst. I hope you can't even close your eyes. I hope you buy all the fucking games and then break your PS5. I hope the middle of your tongue attract flies. I hope you charge your phone every night and as soon as you wake up, that bitch dies. I hope ants build a pile in your shoe. Now, I hope your boss demote your ass and then smile when he do. I hope your breath stay with a dookie smell. I hope soon as you get them done.
Okay, I believe this is the first I Hope song. Let me see. I Hope the Worst. I Hope the Worst 2, out now on all platforms. Dude, I hope this guy goes far. I like this song. I hope your breath smell like doo-doo.
Bitch, you break every fucking nail. I hope you wake up and realize you gotta tell. I hope when Jesus come, you the only person there he send to hell. I hope your kids go to school and just fail. I hope you open a mailbox every day and that bitch ain't got no mail. I hope the plug serve you off a broke scale. I hope your house burned down and you can't find no hotel. I hope roaches crawl on you when you sleep. I hope you never have sex, but it still burn when your ass pee. I hope.
Oh no.
They steal your car and they sell it cheap. I hope you
what
get
is
a
going
permanent
on?
black stain on the bottom of your.
Oh no.
I hope somebody pour bleach on all your clothes.
You guys still there? Sorry, I don't know what just happened, and I don't know how long ago I lost you, but let's go. All right, let's share screen again. Watching videos, create videos. Shoot, mean. That's just messed up. I'm sorry, guys. But yeah, I kind of want to go back to the beginning of this song because I hope you heard some of it, but I'm not sure how much you heard of it. But just cause this guy,
As you get them done, bitch, you break every fucking.
He need to go big.
I hope the word. Hey, this for your boyfriend. Look, I hope you only attract me. I hope every room smell like booty juice as soon as you walk in. I hope your girlfriend fuck on all your friends. I hope you take her back and that bitch do that shit again. I hope every girl you buy is fucking broke. I hope it starts snowing inside your house and your broke ass ain't got no coat. I hope your barber sneeze doing your edge up. No, I hope your barber move and nobody ever give you a haircut. I hope when you shoot it, bitches, they just laugh. I hope your son turn 14, pull up to your job and beat your ass. I hope your rent go up $300. I hope if you ain't got no rent, shoot, you get kicked out of your mama's. I hope somebody cut off all your dreads. I hope every time you get up out the car, a bird shit up on your head. I hope your mama fall in love with one of your wives. I hope they get married and she get mad if your ass don't call him pops. I hope the worst. I hope you can't even close your eyes. I hope you buy all the fucking games and then break your PS5. I hope the middle of your tongue attract flies. I hope you charge your phone every night and as soon as you wake up, that bitch dies. I hope ants build a pile in your shoe. Now, I hope your boss demote your ass and then smile when he do.
Pretty sure this is I Hope Part
I hope
one.
your breath stay with a dookie smell. I hope soon as you get them done, bitch, you break every fucking nail. I hope you wake up and realize you gotta tell. I hope when Jesus come, you the only person there he send to hell. I hope your kids go to school and just fail. I hope you open a mailbox every day and that bitch ain't got no mail. I hope the plug serve you off a broke scale. I hope your house burned down and you can't find no hotel. I hope roaches crawl on you when you sleep. I hope you never have sex, but they still burn when your ass clean. I hope they steal your car and they sell it cheap. I hope you get a permanent black stain on the bottom of your feet. I hope somebody pour bleach on all your clothes. I hope you get COVID and can't never smell through your nose. I hope your best friend group chat get exposed. I hope your baby daddy beat you for cheating. You ain't even got no hoes. I hope the worst. I hope you allergic to your shirt. I hope it's an off day for everybody and you the only one at work. I hope they see boo-boo crumbs when you twerk. I hope they show your close friends to everybody at your mama church. I hope.
That's messed up.
If you're
I
worried
love
about
it.
your soul being trapped in the physical world and being reincarnated, then let's explain this for you so you can understand it and actually free yourself and gain your power. So we always hear the word Saturn Moon Matrix. They want you to believe this fear-based conspiracy that Saturn and the moon are working together to keep your soul trapped. Again, that is an external fear-based.
And about the moon and working with other planets, have you seen recently the whole lineup? And, you know, they were all in a row and now they're each taking their turn with the moon. I would say every night, but I don't think it's every night. I think it's like, you know, nights apart, but I've noticed it. First was one planet, now it's another. Pretty sure it's going to be, sorry about that finger, another after that. It's pretty awesome.
Based teaching, just like religion. It is not the truth. The 7 planets are aspects of your own consciousness. So when we're looking at Saturn, we're looking at anything that holds you back in life, anything in your consciousness that holds you back. This is what it represents. The moon aspect of your consciousness is your subconscious mind. So Saturn represents your time, your restrictions, anything that holds you back. Hence why Saturn is closely related to the god Satan. Satan restricts, holds you back, okay?
What?
So the moon is the subconscious mind and Saturn is restriction. So this could be anything that's keeping you restricted in your mind, because the mind is the gateway to the soul. You are the observer of the mind and not the mind. So what they do is install limiting beliefs, Saturn into the subconscious, limitation into the subconscious. They make you believe you're the body, the ego, the name, the job, the reputation, keep you attached to material things, only caring about money, fame, sex, and all the worldly things.
I just noticed, doesn't he usually wear black gloves? Now he's not. Now you can actually see the phalanges.
This traps the subconscious mind, keeping you locked in an ego-driven consciousness, which ultimately, when you die in that state, when you die and you only think and care about the material world, then you will reincarnate yourself. Why? Because in the astral plane, the non-physical dimension, the imagination, you cannot fulfill physical desires and your consciousness will suffer. And you will reincarnate yourself into the material plane. Okay, so the Saturn and the moon are not working together to trap your soul. It's symbolic. Moon is your subconscious. Saturn is limitation and restriction. So what the Matrix aims to do is to just restrict your mind, keeping you locked in mental illusions. So that traps the soul. Keep reincarnating into the physical plane. The only way you can ascend when you die is if you have no care for the physical plane, no mental addictions, no emotional addictions, and no physical addictions. Once you remove all the attachments you have to the external world, that's when you can ascend to a higher plane of consciousness and your soul will no longer be trapped.
Okay, I don't think that's possible. Girl, I just lost your video earlier, but I don't think that's possible because food. About to go on music break. Hello. Welcome home.
Leave you alone.
How about it?
The little boy Floyd was singing how it was totally different now.
What?
The little boy that Floyd was singing how it was totally different now.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. turned into like a Victoria Aurora looking thing.
Totally different Aurora though.
Yeah. Really strange.
So
That is all. Right, well, on this break, we have Battlefield Grey. We got Undertaker's Light, Pray for the Weary, The Afterlife, Eyes of a Hurricane, which is about moi. And then Fred Johnson III again with his song After Dark. So yeah, Battlefield Grey, Tennessee, Colorado, here in Bayberry. Or Baytucky, or whatever you want to call it. Everybody's got different names for it. I love it here. It's my favorite place I've ever lived. I'm never going to leave. I just said never. Knock on wood. And then we have Fred Johnson III again from Canyon County, California with After Dark. You guys don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this music break.
Silver spurs that jingle as the cowboy rides along. Late on the trail, coming in from San Antonio. Needs a drink of whiskey and a place to lay his head. He checks into this place off of the trail of death. Innkeeper says you're just in time for festivities. There's a party here, can you honor? Are you not pleased? Cowboy looked around and there was no one there but him. He said, this is gonna be one of those nights that'll get under my skin like a cold Texas wind. Then a dancing girl appeared upon the bar, of course. Bartender gave me whiskey, stableman take my horse. Tomorrow I'll fight with the devil that I knew, but tonight there's gonna be heaven up in my room. The room was dusty and it smelled of perfume. There was this dimly lit candle in the room. Shadow on the wall held that moment in the light, and I knew it was gonna be one of those nights. Yeah, the music started playing and she danced me around. What was that beautiful magic that I found? Could it be the devil in disguise, or could it be a glimpse of me in the Undertaker's light? Yeah!
done everything he could, let love and heart show. Until the devil, you know, he took him by surprise. Hate to see the tears of pain in the good man's eyes. I'm gonna pray for the weary, get love and feed the hungry. Do what I can, be a better man, share the taste, walk in grace, just to embrace the love. Got the Holy's bootstrap and he pulled him on tight. Said, I'm not gonna let you pull me, surely not twice. I'm a believer that gave me Christ. Not gonna let you take good of my life. I'm gonna pray for the weary, give love and feed the hungry. And do what I can, be a better man, share the taste, walk in grace, just to embrace love. You grab a hold of your bootstraps and you pull them on tight. Better not let him pull you, surely not twice. You gotta be a believer in that good man Christ. Better not let him take good from your life. I'm gonna pray for the weary, give love and feed the hungry. Do what I can, be a better man, share the tears, walk in grace, just to embrace the Lord.
Last night she sat on the porch and she listened to the sounds of the night. Heard the bullfrog down by the pond, saw the fireflies and black. Watched a plane near the distant stars that cut a path across the sky. One hand she pushed a rocking chair that was empty by her side. And for a moment she closed her eyes. In a picture-perfect world, they're rocking side by side. That would be in another time. That would be in another life. That would be in another time. That would be in the afterlife. He pointed a finger out to the stars and said, I'll meet you somewhere out there. Put her head on his shoulders and said, can you show me where? Lifted a hand up to the sky in the dream they always share. And for a moment they closed their eyes. In a picture-perfect world, they're rocking side by side. That would be in another time. That would be in another life. That would be in another time. That would be in the afterlife. Now she's lying there in their old bed, with his pillow pulled up next to her head. She holds on tightly to my hand, and for the last time she closes her eyes. To leave behind what's left this old life, and to move on to another time, to another time when he'll be there, and to another time when again they'll share all those hopes and dreams. Yeah, that they will sing those old rocking chairs. You could find us in the moonlight, talking about the afterlife.
Like the cool spring wind that whispers through the trees, a sweetness carried soft upon the breeze. When look into those eyes and the coldest nights feel warm, the color of the sea before a storm. When you feel alone, she'll bring you home just like a southbound train. She's got an angel smile in the eyes of a hurricane. There's a feeling that you know you can't ignore. When you feel her waves crash upon your shore, and her hair falls down around you like a cool summer rain. Looking in the eyes of a hurricane. dancing in a circle till nothing else remains, lost somewhere in the eyes of a hurricane. There's a feeling that you know you can't ignore when you feel her waves crash upon your shore, and her hair falls down around you like a cool summer rain, lost somewhere in the eyes of a hurricane. By the years, it seems to me, but to her that isn't what she sees. Reflected in her mirrors, my image remains unchanged, shining back at me in the eyes of a hurricane. There's a feeling that you know you can't ignore when you feel her waves crash upon your shore, and her hair falls down around you like a cool summer rain, looking in the eyes of a hurricane. In the eyes of a hurricane, she's got an angel smile in the eyes of a hurricane.
No matter what I
do. No matter what I say, say it can't stop. Forever, forever after. It doesn't matter what I say. Rude and fatal, lacking the hint of conscience. No matter what I say, after dark.
Welcome back, and thanks so much for hanging out with me tonight on VR Paradox Media's Late Night in the Rockies. That was an awesome music break. The Afterlife song just made me cry. She's like, what? But yeah, super epic songs. And yeah, rest in peace, Dave. Dave passed away last year. I think it was a heart attack. It was never really said, but it was after a weekend of pretty hard partying. I wasn't there. I was here doing the podcast, but he'd seen his cousin that he hadn't seen in forever, and they just tied one on, like a really big fat one. And I think it was the very next day Dave went to Nashville and then was walking through the farmer's market and wasn't feeling right and went out to the vehicle and felt back and never came back. We were hoping he would, but didn't. So yeah, I just wanted to say rest in peace, Dave, because that was really sad. But he is the lead guitarist in the band there, Bayfield, and I don't know. That was in 2015 when we recorded those songs and stuff, and it was just freaking epic, I must say. But let's get on back to our Trippy TikTok, shall we? I'll go down here. And I kind of want to go and see, like, can we find that story she was talking about earlier? But I don't want to interrupt what she has to say right now. So let's go.
Highway right down the road from our house. Story time. People call it the road that eats children, and you'll see why. As kids, we were all taught not to go anywhere near this road because so many children and pets had died out there, and some adults too. There have been so many wrecks because of people seeing things that aren't there. Locals think that this road is cursed, and it lures victims out there by showing them a loved one, someone who may be alive or has passed on, just something to lure you in. So back in the early 70s, there was a man, woman, and their 3 kids, and they pulled into a church parking lot that was located on this road. So Dad goes into the church to talk to the pastor while Mom and the kids wait out in the truck. All of a sudden, while Dad's in the church, he hears tires squalling, a loud bam, and people start screaming. He runs outside, and that's when he finds out the mom had let the kids out to play, and his 3-year-old son had run out the highway and got hit by a Mack truck. The mom and siblings swear that he all of a sudden stood up, began smiling, and said bop bop, and took off running towards the road. Bop bop was his grandpa who died a month prior, and they think that's what he saw in the highway. But they don't think it was his grandpa's spirit. They think it was a demon pretending to be bop bop to get him out there. But about 10 years ago, they bulldozed down that old church, and a new family bought this property and moved in, and this older woman was babysitting her 3-year-old grandson on a regular basis. So on this summer day, they cooked, they played, they watched TV, they were just having a great time together. Around lunch, she goes in the bathroom, and while she's in there, her 3-year-old grandson manages to slip out the door. She comes out the bathroom, she don't see him, she calls his name, he don't answer, so she goes out the front door.
No, I'm freaked out right now. No. And seriously, what is going on with this internet?
And that's where she sees this baby with his arms wide open run into the highway. He was smiling ear to ear when he was hit by a Mack truck right in front of his grandma. She was less than 5 feet behind him when he was hit by that truck, and she was almost hit.
That reminds me of my favorite movie, Pet Sematary, when Gage runs after the ball or the kite, I can't remember what it was, and got hit by a Mack truck.
hit herself. This poor baby was gone, and there wasn't much left of him after the impact. The truck driver was going the speed limit. He didn't even know he'd hit anything. He glances in a side mirror, and that's where he sees a woman running out of her yard, and she drops down in the middle of the highway, so he thinks she's in trouble. He slams on brakes, turns around, and runs back up to the scene, and that's where he learns he hit a child. They had fenced in that entire yard to make it childproof, and they even had a special lock on the gate, but for some reason the gate was standing wide open. Nobody knows who did it. What's crazy?
We're all crazy here on this bus, that's true.
She pulled her grandson's cross.
I salute you, my friend.
By a truck. So back in the late 80s, two 5-year-old children were seen playing alone out in their yard on the edge of this highway. So the one child said, the other child stood up and said, "There's my Mima," and then he took off running out to the highway. But this one said he didn't see anyone out there, but the other one kept running and he got hit by a car. Another woman who grew up down the road from this said that when she was 6 or 7 years old, she used to hear this tapping on her window late at night, and when she looked, it was a black shadowy figure trying to get her to go out into the road, but she wouldn't go because it was too dark. One time this thing told her that her new cat was out there on the road, so she put on her shoes and coat because she didn't want it to get hit, and right when she got to the door, her mama snatched her up and said, "No, you're not going out there, it's too dangerous," and she stopped her. Her mama probably saved her life. Another man said that while his wife was at work at the hospital on night shift, his twin sons, who were 7, would tell him that they saw something floating around the house, and it was trying to get them to come outside and play. He had to put locks on all the doors and windows and build a damn fence around their house that the kids couldn't get through because they were steady trying to go out to that damn road. A girl I went to school with said that when she was getting on the bus one morning, she heard this whiny sound like a kitten, and when she went and leaned down in the ditch, that was when a big truck came out of nowhere and almost hit her. She jumped back so hard that she fell in the ditch and got soaking wet, and the truck barely missed her, but when she looked down in the ditch, there were no animals in there. Another little girl who was 8 years old lived on that same road, and she was getting off the school bus one day when a driver flew past the bus and hit her. The driver kept going and didn't even stop to check on her. So the bus driver and the kids all get off and they call 911, and she's airlifted to Wilmington, and she has been disabled ever since. A bad wreck that I personally saw on that road was when I was in 6th grade. This woman comes flying up in a little car behind our bus. That big tractor with all those discs was just a few feet ahead of us, and that was why our bus driver was going so slow. So this woman tries to go around us. She stomps the gas, but when she goes around the bus, another truck is coming in the opposite lane, so she has to swing it back over in between the tractor and the bus. This woman lost control of her car, and she slammed into the back of that tractor and rammed that car up into those discs. The discs ate the front of her car. I mean, they went right on up into the windshield and potatoed her. I had nightmares about that wreck for weeks. So back in the late 80s, one of my distant relatives was on a tractor going out to a field to plow it, and he put his 5-year-old son on his lap to ride the tractor with him while their mama was at home making lunch. The mom would always tell him, "Be careful with him on the tractor. Please don't let go. Don't let him fall." And the dad was like, "Dude, my whole family's been riding tractors forever, and we've never had nothing happen.
I see what's happening."
So as they're going into the field, a big truck came out of nowhere and almost hit him. And the father has to pull the tractor off the road and back on, and when he does, the little boy falls off the tractor and ends up going under the disc. He was mangled up. And then this poor man had to go home and tell his wife what happened to their son, and she went all to hell. So needless to say, a lot of really bad...
It kind of reminds me of that movie, which when I was, I think, 12 or 13 was my favorite movie. And it's the first time I ever saw Reese Witherspoon. But it was called The Man in the Moon. Oh my goodness, that story just hit home for me because, I'm originally from Arkansas, and I remember, that innocent love, but holy shnikes, this is so sad. Like, this is not an older boy or an early version of a man. This is a baby. No.
Bad things have happened on this highway, and that's why people are so scared to drive on it. There's a cursed highway right down the road from our house, story time. People call it the road that eats...
I'm currently in North Wales, and behind me here, many of you...
Okay, so if you don't know this fella right here, interstellar discussion, yeah, he's amazing. He has the best UFO videos ever. He is totally on top of this, and look, he's doing his own adventures now. I'm so excited.
May know and recognise that this is the Snowdon mountain range, right? The Criggroth to the right. I'm going to tell you something that's just quite funky that many of you might not know. This was once part of the Appalachian mountain range, right? So around 500 million years ago, when these mountains formed, where Appalachia is, when Pangea then broke apart around 200 to 250 million years ago, broke apart and then gave us what we have in the UK here today. These are still...
Okay, so he's saying right now that there's Appalachian Mountains in the UK? So, what? Oh no, this does not make sense to me. What is happening right now? I'm so confused. there's an Appalachian there, because that's where I come from. Our Kansas.
Here as a reminder of what it once was part of the Appalachians, right? Now, many of you that know about Appalachia, you know that that place is very, very strange and has some weird activity. Hence, this area also has some very strange stuff going on. And in North Wales, where you can see here,
in my Appalachia, I not only saw the devil, he was the most perfect, amazing, beautiful man I had ever laid eyes on, but I did not say a word to him. I said, God is before me, Satan fall behind him. Just like that, I was knocked out. But then, before I saw him, I saw his little freaking minions, which were like gremlin-looking things, except for their ears were a little bit shorter, and some of them were hitting drums, and some of them had spears and daggers and whatever, and they're dancing around a fire in the middle of the chicken yard, which there is no bonfire ever in the chicken yard. But out my window, that's what I saw. And it was funny because they were like playing and chanting. And then all of a sudden they stopped and turned to look at me. And I just flung myself back in the bed and pulled my blankets up like this, and I watched. And you know, blankets are the best protection against paranormal things. If you really, really have to, you can go like this. But I was still looking at what's happening. What's happening? Are they going to come in? Are they going to find me? And then I see their shadows coming up to the window, and you know, the shadows get bigger and bigger and bigger. And then you can hear them like scratching the wall. And then you see them peeking in the window. I held my breath. I am not here. And what did they do? Over to my brother's room. And guess what happened after that? They chased him every night for about a month until my grandparents caught him and held him under his arms. So he went out of his room into the living room, past my room, through the storage room where there's the stove. Then there's Grandma's pantry where she kept all her flour and pickled goods and such. Then there's the kitchen. And then after that is a little, you call it a wet room, where you take off your boots and stuff. But that door was closed. So, like, he ran into the kitchen, came back. He did this every night. The last time, there's a little bitty step. It's only like this big. And as he was running back, he tripped over it. And so he turned around and was like scrambling. You know, he had to see what was going on. He was scrambling back, trying to get away. Do you know what my grandparents did? They went and took him under the arm on each side, and he was still like fighting, trying to get away. They got him, and my brother just like succumbed to it. And after that, guess what? There was no more running through the house every night trying to get away from these things. And that, to me, as far as my mom's side of the family goes, is the most disturbing to me. But that's my Appalachian American horror story. You know, I saw the little kobolds, freaking minions, and I saw the devil, and then years later, we met together, me, my dad, my older siblings from their dad, me and my little brother. We all got together and had a get together barbecue sort of thing. We're talking about memories and ghost stories, especially because that's a big thing with our family. We're very spiritually inclined. I don't know if it's because we're like a German royalty or what, but yeah, I discovered that night that my mother, whose room I was staying in, my dad abandoned us after my mom got killed by a drunk driver. We were living in our grandparents' house in Prairie Grove, Arkansas. And yeah, I told that story, and my dad turned white as a sheet, and he's like, your mom saw the very same thing in the very same room, but she actually had several different lengthy conversations with this feller, and I don't know if it's because, you know, we are gifted, we can see and hear and speak to the dead. I don't know if that's why she was intrigued to talk to him or what, but I think he's the reason that she was taken so soon. And my dad would also say, because of my paranormal stuff and how I was so interested in it, and paranormal investigations, I have every tool in the book, basically. Better not do that, because look what happened to your mom. Your mom delved into this gift that she had, and look what happened to her. But hey, I outlasted the family curse, as did my sister. And yeah, we're still alive after 33. My mom, not so much, but isn't that crazy? And for there to be Appalachian Mountains in northern Wales, which is where the Thomas side of my family came from. Yeah. And then O'Brien, my grandma's side, came from Ireland, of course. And then my mom's mom, my mom's mom, Brandenburg, German royalty. And then my grandpa, I'm not quite so sure about him, but pretty damn
Even up
interesting.
until recently, we get strange UFO activity from triangle craft, boomerang, lights, booms, kind of weird noises that people can't explain, paranormal wise as well. We get figures, disembodied voices, people kind of reporting weird lights and stuff as well, kind of appearing and blinking. And even a couple of weeks ago, someone reported something around like strange lights happening in around the mountain ranges where it just kind of fizzled out with no explanation. Nothing on flight radar, nothing on the satellite data. Who knows even to now? So, and with kind of these mountain ranges as well, if you can see up towards where Crib Goff is up here, you might be able to see some kind of veins running through them, which is quartz crystals, okay? And there's much slate here as well. And when it comes to the paranormal UFO phenomena, where there's like things like quartz, chalk, even slate, it seems to attract a lot of the strange behaviour. Many people think that the quartz crystals, because it resonates on a high frequency and has a lot of energy, much like the slate is quite strong as well, these kind of phenomena use it to kind of manifest themselves and show up in these sort of situations here, much like we see in Appalachia. And we also do get the fabled Bigfoot sightings, mate. There's even been so many reports of Sasquatch type looking things seen roaming around these areas, kind of disturbing, and people kind of pooping their pants, should I say, right? And much like Appalachia, which has prolific sightings of Sasquatch type beings, whether this is a real thing, a hoax, or some sort of interdimensional being bridging the gap. And another sort of cool bit of information around all these mountain ranges as well, much like the UFO phenomena, you get a lot of magic mushrooms, so kind of like the liggscat mushroom, the psilocybe semilentiata, for those of you who know, where these sort of mushrooms grow. Strange things happen. I know some people could probably sit there and go, oh, that's because people are off their face and they're tripping, they're seeing stuff. Not even that. But there's another theory how where these mushrooms just sort of grow, the psilocybe side, it kind of bridges the gaps between realities, and it kind of brings all dimensional layers in the middle, and everything kind of passes to and from between that sort of middle plane, which is hence why we get a lot of the weird stuff along with the quartz crystals in the mountain as well. So make of that what you will. So yeah, if you're ever in North Wales and you want to kind of see some funky stuff, this might be the area you want to kind of camp up and watch the skies, mate. And even last night when I was sky watching, I also saw some very strange, peculiar things flashing, moving around the sky. I couldn't quite explain, couldn't see things on flight radar or satellite radar or anything like that. It was just unexplainable. So yeah, get your butt over here and check this place out.
Let's go.
What episode of a childhood TV show kind of messed you up a little bit?
I have recorded this video like 100.
Okay, so Courage the Cowardly Dog is the most fucked up stuff I've seen since The Crypt Keeper, and then before that, it was Twilight Zone. Yeah, Courage the Cowardly Dog.
100 times, and every time the sound unsyncs. So if the sound unsyncs for this video, just pretend I'm really good at ventriloquism, because I can't do this anymore. It's Courage the Cowardly Dog. Okay, so it's not really an episode, it's an entire series. This show traumatized me. This show came out in the early 2000s on Cartoon Network, and when this show would come on, I'd be like, oh, turn off the TV, freaking out. You know, you'd go from Dexter's Lab, which is good, clean fun, to this monstrosity. Courage the Cowardly Dog was about Courage, the cowardly dog who lived on a ranch in the middle of nowhere with Eustace and Muriel. They were really horrible to him, and he just saved them all the time from scary, freaky, horrendous shit that would happen on this ranch. I'm not joking when I say that on this show there was plagues, there were mummies, there was a serial killer who wanted to make a TV show about them. Like, it all happened. There was this episode where Muriel's nephew Fred came to stay, and Fred was like a general freak who only spoke in rhymes and had this like thing, this love of shaving people's heads. And then there was this episode where this clay animation monstrosity was a teacher who was obsessed with perfection. Giant phosphoric floating head of horror. And then there was also this episode where Eustace wakes up with an infection in his foot, and the infection like gets bigger and bigger and slowly turns him into a big infected foot. And the only way to cure the infection is for Courage to lick the infected foot. I was a child watching this. Why was I a child watching people licking infected feet? Okay, fundamentally I know that Courage was not a person. Courage was indeed a dog. But still, the point remains. Like, were the people in early 2000s Cartoon Network okay? What was happening there? What was going on? Because not only was there Courage the Cowardly Dog, there was also shows like...
Okay, so let's stop right there. Back in the day... Okay, so... When I was first watching Nickelodeon, it was just like... a splatter. And then it had Nickelodeon in the middle of it. Then later on, during these years... a foot would splatter around it. Come to find out, the guy that was running stuff and doing production, etc., was harming the children, which is not okay. But there was also the foot fetish. So it was a foot with a around it.
Cat dog and cow and chicken.
Oh, yeah.
Were they okay? There are also really horrific fan theories about Courage the Cowardly Dog that I would recommend that people read if you want to traumatize yourself even further.
No, I don't want to know.
What episode of a childhood TV show?
No.
Hello, friends. What if aliens are actually remnants and survivors of past resets, and they're stuck in previous versions of this simulator, and the reason they're so obsessed with humans and the abduction hybridization programs are not biological, they are more on an energetic frequency level because they're trying to reestablish their source connection so that they can escape the physical domain that they're currently stuck in. Now, this video is going to be fucking bananas, obviously, but I think it's important because I'm getting more information. And it seems like this simulator, I've talked at length about the fact that we are in a sort of...
No. Sorry, guys. Interlude, I suppose. I don't get it. Let's go. Let's go to these children's. I gotta call my boy again. Oh my goodness, I can't believe this is so frozen. What? Hello. I'm just making sure that everything's off the Wi-Fi because I'm buffering. Huh? Okay, so can we please just disconnect phones and stuff from the internet? Okay. Well, it must just be Century Stick. Well, no, your phone should just be on its regular service, so love you too, boy. We'll see what happens. Bye. No more.
What episode of a childhood TV show?
I'm currently in North Wales, and behind me here,
What the crack?
You won't believe how they've been controlling.
Excuse me. What? This is freaking redonkulous. I'm so fed up with this.
But I caught them.
You
I
did.
caught their hands in the cookie jar. Do you know who that is? Comment below if you think you know. But I'm telling you, you have no idea. But don't cheat. While you're guessing, let me give you some hints. This man put a spell on all of you. You're still under the spell, most of you watch.
Is it
If you look up the
Shakespeare?
etymology of a spell, it's from Old English S-P-E-L, which means a story. So if you have a story or a narrative in your subconscious mind, you're under their spell. He was a governor in Virginia prior to the United States, an elitist that enslaved Africans and Europeans. Oh yes, the Africans and Europeans worked side by side. But then they united in something called Bacon's Rebellion to overthrow the elite.
Oh, yes.
So he creates the white race spell. His name, William Berkeley. He created an unheard identity and put it into law called white people. He told the indentured European servants and enslaved people, for now on you're white, but that means you can't go over there with them and you get privileges now. So he
Slavery. Did you know that Africans went to other tribes and enslaved other Africans and then sold them to people like this guy here? My God, this guy is disgusting.
We destroyed the movement. This is the race spell, the race story that you believe in your subconscious mind that white and black people exist. And based on that, one group is superior in comparison to the other. Still not convinced you're under this spell? Most of you will call yourself white or black. You will say, my skin is black.
No.
Think again. These are just some of the shades of brown.
I mean, a lot of...
These are some of the shades of brown. These are the shades of different racial groups, from so-called white people.
I'm over there
to
in African.
people.
Yeah.
Different shades of brown.
Oh, I'm at the very end of the African
not
thing.
White. She's brown.
Yeah.
Same with her. Yeah. They got you under that spell. Some of you still struggle. Most so-called races, like racial groups, have more genetically in common than other groups than people within their own racial groups. Think about it. The elites are using this to keep y'all separate. By the way, this doesn't mean that racism doesn't exist. The most dangerous part is they're still using this spell to this day, and it's working. Like Americans when they were from Africa. Despite the fact that we have all the evidence in the world, let me break this down for you. It's a trap. It divides Africans from African Americans. It puts African descendants against the group that has been their closest allies, natives, Mexican, Puerto Ricans, they're all Native Americans, indigenous people. And the elites love it. They always do this. Some natives were relabeled Mexicans, making it easy to push them away from their sovereign land. This movement online that Africans are Native Americans, there's evidence to support that it is an agenda being pushed by white supremacists. Don't believe me? This is John Tayton. He needed to figure out a way to get non-white people against Mexican people. Weird enough, he's connected to one of the founders of the ADOS movement. ADOS is trying to increase friction between African Americans and black groups that are immigrating into America, increasing support for the immigration policies he wants. Because if he can get fewer black immigrants in America, then the whole black and brown majority thing is delayed. The founder of ADO sat on his board for another organization that he funds. It's not just them. Russians literally create fake black activist accounts to make European descendants angry and natives angry. The only one who benefits from this are the elites. This book touches on this and goes much deeper into a lot of things. If you want to skip this matrix, get this free audiobooks and a link at the top of the page. Love you all. Peace. You
ever heard of Jolly West? Jolly West worked for the CIA under MK Ultra and led Sub-Project 43, a psychophysiological studies of hypnosis and suggestibility. Also involved in MK Ultra LSD research. This dude apparently loved LSD, but also loved studying the human psyche. He would test it on people unbeknownst to them. Would just find random people and test LSD on them.
That is not cool.
So in 1962, Jolly West injected a 7,000
if you're going to do this to somebody, you should at least give them the courtesy to know, because otherwise there's a total meltdown.
Pound elephant named Tusco with 297 milligrams of LSD at the Oklahoma City Zoo.
Because he was bored?
Killed the elephant.
No!
And he also worked in the Hyatt Ashbury Free Clinic. It was a clinic where troubled people or insane people would go. Not only did Jolly study LSD and all that stuff, but he also was super heavy into studying like the occult and different types of cults. And guess who went through this clinic? Charles Manson.
Yep.
So the theory is that Jolly recruited Charles Manson in MK Ultra and was testing him, and that's what led to murder, starting this cult. A huge thing of the MK Ultra of him like figuring out how to break someone's mind was to put them through sleep deprivation mixed with LSD. They said you could actually hypnotize and manipulate someone so they can do something.
So basically all you gotta do is like get them all methed up and then give them some LSD. Yeah, well, for me, LSD, like, would make me smile to the point where, like, my cheeks would cramp up, but I never got the visual effects. And I think it's the Thomas genes or something. I think it's my genetics that I cannot trip on acid or mushrooms or anything. It's just kind of like a spiritual advice or like a positive thing added to my psyche that makes me smile a lot. Yeah, I've never had the trippiness of it. Hello? Hello? What is happening?
What the fuck is going on with 3i Atlas, guys? This mysterious interstellar object hurtling through our sun.
I heard it could be a nuclear-powered spaceship.
Solar system right now is giving scientists more evidence that it could possibly be an alien craft from another galaxy. According to Harvard scientist Avi Loeb, the object dubbed 3i Atlas seems to be generating its own light source as well now.
Alright.
Which is really strange. The shocking revelation comes from a picture an astronomer took of 3i Atlas using the Hubble telescope on July 21st. The light from 3i Atlas in Hubble's photo appears as its glowing area focused on the side of the object facing the sun. It's not a beam or laser shooting out like a spotlight, nor was it a uniform glow covering the entire surface. Until now, the prevailing theory has been that the fast-moving object is a giant comet approximately 12 miles long, which will make its closest pass to Earth on December 17th. In a new report, Loeb has said that the glow might be caused by dust coming off the object's surface as it's heated by the sun.
No. Okay, so I have to say no to that because, okay, what I looked up earlier. Sorry, there's hair in my mouth. So, excuse me, make it louder. Alright, so what I was looking at earlier was saying there have been asteroids that have come from that same direction, and they didn't even start glowing until they got closer to the sun. This one is preeminently glowing, so therefore out there it means it is supposedly nuclear powered. Sorry guys if there was an echo this whole show, I just now muted that screen, so frick. I feel so bad about that. Anyways, this thing is supposedly the thing they were talking about before. That could be an aggressive other species. Why the frick would they even call it that? Because it's so far away. I don't understand. What the hell is happening here? What is going on? I do not know. I don't know. Pretty tripped out. And this hair keeps getting in my eyes. I think about this.
But it's also giving off water. It's giving off its own light. It seems to be giving off water. However, the glow's brightness decreases sharply with distance, which doesn't match any typical comet behaviour that we've ever seen before, because they normally reflect sunlight. According to Leo, this has added yet another potential clue that 3i Atlas might be some sort of artificial object containing a powerful source of energy.
No.
That's
a pedophile and registered sex offender was involved.
What the fuck is going on with 3i Atlas, guys? This mysterious interstellar object hurtling through our solar system right now is giving scientists more.
I want to go back to where we were before. Can we go back to where we were before? What, here maybe? No? I don't know, but you did a really good job, London. And Rise Lion. Let's go to the next, shall we? Because this ain't working out for us very well.
A pedophile and registered sex offender was invited by President Donald Trump to appear beside him and to help reestablish a fitness test for children. I mean, you just can't make this shit up.
I know.
So this is Lawrence Taylor. He's a former linebacker for the New York Giants. And he's a very famous and infamous athlete. And he's also been a very vocal supporter of Donald Trump. So Lawrence was invited a few days ago to the White House to speak about the revitalization and reestablishment of the presidential fitness test for American children. Keep in mind, Trump was announcing during this conference the establishment of a Presidential Council on Sports, Fitness, and Nutrition initiative for kids. So Lawrence has been arrested a number of times. His first arrest was for crack possession, but his most infamous arrest was in 2010, when he was arrested and charged with rape. Now, this is from reporting at the time. They said he was charged Thursday in May of 2010 with rape for having sex with a 16-year-old runaway forced into prostitution by a man who had beaten her up, which is just comically deplorable. Lawrence ended up pleading guilty to sexual misconduct and patronizing a prostitute and was ordered to register as a sex offender. But over the years, he's been rearrested multiple times, once for DUI and also at points on charges for failing to register as a sex offender. Keep in mind, his victim was 16 years old. And now, out of all athletes in America, we have him.
Okay, so I have to admit that when I was a child, I did pretty good as far as my hormones and shit went until Trent Reznor came out with I Want to Fuck You Like an Animal. And then I became active as a teenager. Well, unfortunately for this poor fella, I was 16, he was 21, and yeah, I'm not making excuses for him because he is a pretty fucked up person. Before he started beating me up, I saw him beating up his little sister, who was only like 12 years old. He's 21, she's 12. What the fuck is wrong with you? But anyways, yeah, what the hell is going on with
asked
this?
By him to be on a council for sports, nutrition, and fitness for children in America. I mean, you really just cannot make this stuff up, and I just, I'm at a loss for words with so many of these news stories. I make these videos all the time trying to raise awareness about the massive problem that we have with child abuse, not only just here in America, but across the planet. But at this point, you're clearly seeing what I've been talking about happening in real time, where you have a registered sex offender whose victim was 16 years old, standing at a podium in the White House, basically being assigned to involve himself.
And he even said, I don't even know why I'm here, but thank you for this opportunity, blah, blah, blah.
With the affairs of children. Once again, I'm just at a loss for words. I'm going to continue making these videos, though, and raising awareness around these issues, because hopefully one day in the future, we will not be appointing people to positions or asking them to involve themselves in councils when they are registered sex offenders whose victims were 16 years old, who are being asked to participate in councils on issues related to children.
Ghost stories and more.
A pedophile and registered sex offender was invited by President Donald Trump to appear beside him and to help reestablish a fitness test for children.
Yes. Can you physically get through this? I don't know, but you guys, Yeah, let's